Right, welcome back after the blackout. But I'd like to take you back to Dennis Aseto. Dennis, who suffered some setback due to the blackout. Aseto, summarize what the professionals are saying.
And yes, indeed, even the Bible says, pray and there is light at the end of the tunnel. That is where we are. There is light. We thank God for that. And just before that technical hitch, the men in academia had touched on matters to do with the importance of the matters climate change be included in the curriculum, that we need to take this information down to the people, that we need to make sure that those at the grassroots get to understand the effects of climate change. And Ken, as you sit up there, what are the leaders saying, the researchers and professors, on this conversation being taken down to the people, Ken?
Agriculture would have been very important, but I hear there are also lessons on climate change right now at the level of the university, and Masina Muliro is taking a lead on that, being a science and technology institution. Thank you so much, Aseto. Aseto will be back at the top of the hour with all the top stories making your headlines today. But let me bring this conversation back to my panelists, and we apologize for that also. Let me begin with Judith. Judith, there must be ways that the communities and the people around have adopted in order to mitigate this, because it's a reality, like we were told. It's a reality. So what are some of the things that from the ground they're doing to ensure that at least they mitigate the effects of climate change, which is a reality?
Thank you, Ken. There are initiatives by communities and organizations to make sure that the communities are adapting to the effects of climate change. I will be speaking to such initiatives focusing on making agriculture more sustainable. And I would like to start by talking about one that I promote and I practice, regenerative agriculture, where we are promoting minimal use of chemical fertilizers, embracing more of organic inputs, which are now readily available, and looking into integrated pest management, reducing use of herbicides that would have destroyed insects that are friendly to us as farmers and destroy biodiversity as that. Embracing agroforestry, where we are now cropping using and also planting trees on our farms. We know that our land sizes have shrinked, and so we are also promoting the reduction of monoculture and promoting a lot of crop biodiversity on farms. And we have sustainable ways of doing that. Such include doing what we are calling relay cropping. We are also promoting high-value crops. And in this region, we are looking at African leafy vegetables. I'm sure the audience and also the people at home are now seeing managu and terere and mtere on the supermarket shelves, dried, and that is a value addition. And also looking at promoting practices such as cover cropping, so that our soils are covered all through the year, and that we are not exposing our soils and losing the carbon and losing the moisture from the soils. So those are some of the practices that we are doing. And also we are promoting appropriate technologies that the communities can identify with and they can easily do, such as organic composting. And this, we also promote technologies such as black soldier flies. I know that we have a lot of organic waste, and black soldier flies are doing a very good job in ensuring that the communities are getting food or animal feed, and they are also getting organic fertilizer from that. And these just examples, but we have much more that the communities are doing.
What I like with the examples you're giving are very basic examples that can be practiced with any common person? I don't know where I'll get the flies, but I'll come
just
back
telling
to
you what everyone can do to get
yes,
there. But don't forget use of renewable energy, solar and biogas or biodigesters, because with biodigesters we get bioslurry, which is a rich organic fertilizer, and we also get energy from it. For solar, we get lighting, that is super, and we also get energy to run simple farm equipment, irrigation kits. You can also run your chaff cutters and such kind of machinery at home. Yeah, thank you.
All right, quite a lot. Dr. Otichilo, forget about the policy level and come back to the ground with us. Is it possible to live with this? Is it possible to live with climate change? And what is it that we can do to live with climate change?
Yes, climate change is here with us. It's not going to go away for many years to come. And therefore, we must learn to live with climate change. And that's why adaptation is a key focus at the discussion level, at the global level too, because we have to learn how to adapt to live to climate change. And as Madam has clearly said, we have a lot of opportunities that we can leverage on to change the way we do things. For example, we have completely to change the way we practice our agriculture. We have to do it completely differently. We have been used to, let's say, tillage, tilling the farm, plowing the farm. We have to move away from that. We must now to go to conservation agriculture, because we want now to conserve moisture in the soils. And when you dig the land, moisture evaporates. We have to go in and come up with the new technologies, greenhouse technologies, where we have to grow our crops within a controlled environment. So yes, we have to completely change the way we do agriculture. And the technologies are there. The good thing, the technologies are there. And that's why I want to agree with the professors who, from the audience, who have said that it's important creating awareness of our people at the grassroots, letting our young children understand that climate change is here with us, and they learn how to live with it. And it's out of this that the project we are implementing as Council of Governors, the one I said of 7.3 billion, is called Financing Locally Led Climate Action. It is meant to take the technology to the lowest level. And the way we have structured it, when we receive the money, it's going to go right to the grassroots at the ward level. And as we talk now, already we have received money that we have used to create the initial awareness. Now the money we are going to receive now, we are going to now elaborate more on the awareness and then come up with the innovative projects, programs that will now change the way we do our activities, whether agriculture or the way we live has to change.
We're going to talk about mitigation, but first, I'd like also to hear from Governor Fernandez. How important and crucial for us to survive is adapting and getting to live with this phenomena? And in your case, in Kakamega County, what have you done, for example? I know there are areas that they're getting people out of forests, right? That's one way of telling them you need to conserve. But from where you sit, what have you done? For example, what are you planning to do, apart from the policy level on the ground?
Yeah, I want to just agree to a large extent with my colleagues. On the issues of regenerative agriculture, we have actually gone a step further to establish an organic fertilizer factory in Mumias West Sub-County. This one, next year, will be distributing organic fertilizer to our farmers, which, of course, will go a long way in addressing issues of synthetic fertilizer. Conservation agriculture is the way to go. Of course, we are also encouraging our farmers through our extension officers to grow the drought-resistant crops like cassavas, potatoes, etc. Because as Governor Otikilo puts it, climate change is here with us to stay. At global level, we're also looking at having interventions to protect our Kakamega forest, because we must protect our rainfall catchment areas. We have already started fencing the forest. We are now having a program for phase 2 of fencing the forest. As a county, we have allocated 100 million Kenya shillings. I know in April, Governor Otillo and I will be officially commissioning the phase 2 of fencing our Kakamega forest. And just for information, the forest is almost 117 kilometers. We have done 25 kilometers. Phase 2 will be 35 kilometers. So we are calling upon most of the key stakeholders to support us on the issue of fencing the forest, because that will go a long way in addressing encroachment. We are also encouraging our locals, especially those living around the forest, to do establishment of tree nurseries, largely indigenous trees. Okay. We have also partnered with them to a larger extent, just to do surveillance in conjunction with our KFS, because we believe that when we have the locals involved, then it will go a long way in supporting our climate action mitigation strategies. Okay. And lastly, our county greening program. We have so far planted 1 million trees. Every year we have a program of planting trees, because it's also important. Besides restoration of the forest, we also need to do afforestation. Okay. So all those initiatives, I'm very sure, will go a long way in protecting our rainfall catchment areas, Kakamega Forest, Malava, etc. Thank you.
Great. I'd like to speak to my colleague now, Alan Ochandai, if he's ready. Alan, there's several questions from the audience. I'd like to deal with the issue of mitigation and funding. Which are these funds? I've heard about World Bank funds, but I want just to know if there are other available funds, and they, the experts, academia, the governors, and policy people who write policies for this country, if there are other funds available and if they're digging from it. But before I talk about that, let me take it to Alan. Alan, your turn.
Well, Ken, you were talking about the world-based climate committees, and of course they also need funds. Remember that this is quite a complex topic, and the experts here, the men in charge, the men and women in charge, and of course those whose this is actually their niche, really shredding it into digestible bits. But you talked about the climate, world-based climate committees. Of course, those they really carry out, according to the governors there, they carry out sensitization at that particular level of the world. But I have some young faces here, ladies and gentlemen here. Of course, we assume there are students here at Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology, but this particular topic you also want to really contribute. If you have a question in relation to what the topic at hand, just tell us your name and just pose your question quite short and precise, kindly.
Thank you very much. I am Moses Chimatuni. I was a student here under the Department of Disaster Mitigation and Sustainable Development. I think Professor Mterema is around. He taught me pollution chemistry. I have Dr. Mungalavai, who was the COD by then. I have a question respectively to the two governors present about what they are doing to ensure that policy brokers are brought in the issue of formulation of policy as matters of climate change and global warming are concerned. Because I understand there are donors that are there funding this debate on climate change, but there is an issue of how knowledgeable are these people that you have tasked with the mandate in your respective counties to deal with matters environment and climate change. Are they really able? Are they really tested? What are the credentials? What are the things that you are using to make sure that these people are knowledgeable about the same? Thank you very much.
Nice. Thanks so much. I hope we shall be taking from that pool of questions, but also have another gentleman here. Maybe just your name shortly, quite short and precise about your question.
Thank you. I'm Hiram Nixon, third year student in the School of Disaster Management. I have a question to our governors. They are concerned about the land encroachment, how the people are settling the forest. What is your take, and what are you taking to make sure that they are out, and where will they go? I've heard my governor, FCPA Baraza, saying that he's encouraging the settlers or the people living around the water encroachment areas to plant trees. Your Excellency, I would like, as a student from the disaster management, that implies some force, procure some machines and cut down the eucalyptus trees around the rivers, around the forest, and tell them mambo ni mawili, either they cut themselves or you cut for them. Thank you.
So the gentleman just reduced the mambo to mawili from mambo ni matatu. But we go to the final gentleman here, but we shall not be looking out the ladies here because this is actually your international day here. So just prepare a short and precise question kindly. Ndugu, maybe your name, short and precise question kindly.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Kawesa Byron Otieno in the School of Education. Okay, my question is, one of the mitigation for climate change is reducing carbon emissions. Therefore, charcoal has created more jobs to youths. When they burn them and sell them, they get a profit. This is because of the reluctance of the government to give youths jobs. And with my research, I found that most of our graduates, after they have graduated here, they are advised to do some projects, casual projects, like the housing project, which they are paid the same amount of money which a class 7 dropout is paid. So what is our fate as students? Are we going to do the charcoal burning, or what is the plan of government to give us jobs after this?
That's from a comrade's point of view here, quite a controversial question there, but of course it needs some response there from the men and women there. So Ken, from that pool of question, you understand that we are limited of time, and so
thank you, Alan. And we're not going off air, so we will have all the questions. I see the gentleman right in front here also want to ask questions, but that's a politically correct question, you know. The young people want to know what to do. Do I burn charcoal and get more money, or get paid a little money for that? So the questions were for the two governors, I guess, about policy brokers to FCP, and also about settlement in forests, and what you're doing as you encourage them. And then the last question, perhaps, Governor, you'll give us an answer to that, or if you want to also have a view on the other two. Let me begin with Baraza.
First and foremost, I want to say that as a government, we are trying to create opportunities for the youth, especially employment opportunities. And because we have a very proactive strategy of dealing with climate action, we don't encourage charcoal burning, because that one is going against what you're preaching, even right from the world level. And that is why, as counties, we are looking at having investment opportunities so that we create employment opportunities for our youth. When you go to the Kakamega forest, one thing I want to confirm here is by doing the fencing of the forest, what we are trying to do is to have a controlled access of the forest. I know one of the things which we had an issue with the villagers there, especially the women, is the issue of firewood, because they were asking us, what is the alternative that you're going to give us so that we can actually support your initiative. What we are doing as a county, in conjunction with the national government, is to promote use of GCOS, because the issue of collecting firewood with the forest cannot be encouraged because logging cannot be controlled. We have also employed youth, by the way, just to help us do some bit of marshalling of the forests, especially those guys who do illegal logging of trees in the forest. In terms of educating those champions, part of the funds that we are getting from World Bank, the FLOCA funds, is for capacity building. Because these world champions, for them to be trainers of trainers, they need to be capacity built. So the first and foremost initiative which we have done across the board is to make sure that these champions are properly trained so that they can do proper sensitization. I know Governor Otichilo can add more because he's the champion of environment in COG.
Thank you, my colleague. I want to add by saying that as counties, we are very keen to bring on board highly qualified youth and people who can be able to carry out this very important program, which is going to last for a long time. So I want to confirm that as we establish climate change directorates within our counties, we focus on qualification. And I can assure you that we have employed some of the most qualified people from our universities who are already within our now establishment. Even here at Masinde Muliro, you will not have poached a number of your people. They are now, one of them is there, and many others who have come to work with us. So we are looking for real capacity building and qualification. And I want to thank our universities who are preparing the youth who should be able to carry out this program. As regards whether we can continue having charcoal, I think technology is changing so fast. And therefore, charcoal is not going to be on the menu of energy, as a source of energy, because we have many other sources of energy. Waste management is now becoming a major resource for creation of energy in many forms. So I want to encourage our youth who are already in the university, focus on the latest technologies that are going to revolutionize the way we have been living and the way we are going to live in the future. So the opportunities are there, but we need to prepare for them so that we can be able to implement at the right time.
Dr. Perhaps the question that they will be asking, where are these opportunities? Could you, for example, they'll say, could you point us to these opportunities? If we leave the forest and burning charcoal, which is more profitable to them, which you said waste management, but that is just one and not everyone can be involved in that.
Yeah, we have, you can be able to have waste management, which has a lot of opportunity. Madam talked about, biodigesters. We can now use the waste we have in our, the waste we have in our toilets and so on. We can convert it into energy. And that is going to create employment. Solar energy is something that is now coming out very quickly and is going to be actually on the menu of energy solutions for many options. Okay. So the chances are there.
Okay.
And it's just a question of how they come and how they become implemented.
And of course, capacity building for them to identify also these chances. Let me go to Prof now. Prof, I want to talk about the mitigation, and one of the most important aspects of mitigation is the funding. First, the academia, do they also dig from that pot? Do they get something from that pot? Do they draw money from that pot? And at what level do they get it? And other sources of funds that they can also look at in order to finance climate action?
Yeah, thank you for that question. I think the academia plays a big role in this. And I'll give an example of Masinde Muliro University. Most of the funds that we get, even as a university, these are very important issue, that climate change. Almost 20% goes to this climate change. And the academia, of course, they get some grants from, research grants from outside. We will like to urge, especially the governors, that this money that is coming, you know, let me tell you the role of the university clearly so that you partner with us. You see, long time when we had these problems of climate, like you said, it is not raining and, you know, we had seers, okay? You will go and consult and they tell you, oh, this month, it will be late a bit, don't plan. So the university wants to take that role, whereby it's the university that is going to have a center of information for us, because we have experts. In Masinde Muliro University, we have 2 groups here, like I told you, to do that job. And we have what is called information hub. We want to create an information hub where people can come and find solutions to. You were talking about Kakamega Forest. Do you know we have already, all data from the 80s, how the climate has been around the Kakamega Forest up to now. We have this data. About carbon sequencing, we have the data. The only problem is that trading with the carbon is something that we want to do, but many people are stakeholders of that Kakamega Forest. Okay. So we want to have a general policy, how we can do that and extra money. You talk about generating money through carbon credit. But we must come together because everybody has a stake in it. We cannot just say Masinde Muliro is getting billions from alone, yeah? And so we want to urge everybody that here we want to be an information center in climate change. We have that school already. We have experts. And we are saying that you must involve us in it because this is where you will get experts to tell you exactly how to do it right. Okay. And yeah, and something that I must say now is that to mitigate the second category of problem of climate change is to use clean energy. And Masinde Muliro, one of our niche is to start working on creating solar powers. Okay. So this is one program that we have started. Okay. Yeah, and so that is one of the things to mitigate the climate change. The
conversation continues. I'm told we'll have to take a short break to allow them to take news. And today we are broadcasting live from Masinde Muliro University. My colleague Dennis Aseto is on the other side. So we take a break to allow them to have news, but the discussion continues here, but they'll come back to us. So we'll still be on air. Right. We take a break. We'll be back.